Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind tugging at your clothes. Below stretches an endless expanse of jagged rocks shrouded in mist. Above, the sky is vast and indifferent, streaked with gold as the sun sets. Your heart pounds, not from fear of falling, but from something deeper. It's not the height that terrifies you, it's what lies beyond the horizon. Somewhere out there, hidden in the folds of reality, lurks a world that feels too large, too unpredictable, too dangerous. No matter how far you run or how high you climb, it will always be waiting for you. Why does the unknown feel like a predator? Why does stepping into uncharted territory send tremors through your chest? Isn't curiosity supposed to drive humanity forward? Yet here you stand, frozen between two forces, the yearning to leap and the paralyzing dread of what might await. What if the fall doesn't kill you, but changes you so profoundly that you no longer recognize yourself? Why does the unknown feel like a predator? Why does stepping into uncharted territory send tremors through your chest? Isn't curiosity supposed to drive humanity forward? Yet here you stand, frozen between two forces, the yearning to leap and the paralyzing dread of what might await. What if the fall doesn't kill you, but changes you so profoundly that you no longer recognize yourself? Every decision you make is shaped by fear. The job you take, the relationships you nurture or avoid, the dreams you chase or abandon, all filtered through risk versus reward. But what happens when fear becomes the dominant filter? When the mechanism designed to protect you suffocates you instead? Do you realize how much of your life is dictated by what if? What if I fail? What if they laugh? These questions drown out every other voice, including your own. Fear is the ultimate double-edged sword. Without it, we'd walk blindly into danger. With too much, we become prisoners of caution, unable to grow. So where is the balance? Where is the line between protection and paralysis? To answer, we must journey inward, to the labyrinthine corridors of the psyche, where shadows linger and truths lie dormant. Fear is not just an emotion. It's a force woven into human consciousness itself. Are you ready to face what awaits you there? Ready to peel back the layers of conditioning, expectation, and self-deception? Because once you begin, there's no turning back. Fear is not merely an external response to danger. It's an internal architecture built over millennia to ensure survival. Carl Jung called this inner terrain the shadow, the part of ourselves we repress because it contains everything we deem unacceptable. Fear guards the shadow, whispering warnings as we approach our comfort zones, urging retreat before we confront buried parts of ourselves. Stay safe, it says. Don't look too closely. But why does fear wield such power? Friedrich Nietzsche argued that much of what we consider truth is a construct, a lens interpreting chaos. Fear thrives on uncertainty, imposing order even if false or destructive. It convinces us staying small is safer than risking failure, conformity preferable to standing out, clinging to the known better than venturing into the unknown. Arthur Schopenhauer delved deeper, exploring existential suffering. In The World as Will and Representation, he posited that life is driven by an unrelenting will, a ceaseless striving towards survival and reproduction. This will, however, creates endless desires that can never be satisfied. Fear manifests this tension, the awareness that despite our efforts, we are powerless against nature, time, and mortality. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, observed that those who succumbed to despair were consumed by what he called the existential vacuum, a sense of meaninglessness brought on by lack of purpose. Conversely, those who found meaning endured unimaginable suffering without losing hope. For Frankl, fear wasn't the enemy. It was the absence of meaning that made fear unbearable. Society amplifies these roots, conditioning us to equate vulnerability with weakness and success with external achievements. Social media, consumer culture, and political narratives exploit fear, creating a feedback loop that strengthens insecurities. Fear tells us the world is hostile. full of judgment, and the only way to survive is to conform, hide, or shrink. Yet Jean-Paul Sartre reminds us that humans are condemned to be free, that we create our own meaning in a universe devoid of inherent purpose. While terrifying, this freedom is liberating. It means we're not bound by fate, biology, or circumstance. We have the power to choose how we respond to fear, to transcend it, transform it, and use it as a catalyst for change. Unchecked, fear becomes a silent architect of reality. It shapes individual behavior and societal structures in ways most never notice until it's too late. Neurologically, chronic fear rewires the brain, eroding mental health and leading to anxiety, depression, and illness. On a societal level, fear fuels tribalism, conformity, and authoritarianism, dividing communities and stifling creativity. History offers countless examples of regimes exploiting public fears, promising security in exchange for freedom. From Nazi Germany to surveillance states, the pattern repeats. Fear creates fertile ground for oppression, enabling leaders to justify draconian measures under the guise of protection. Once freedoms are surrendered, reclaiming them becomes nearly impossible. Fear isn't just a personal prison, it's societal. While even our relationship with time is warped by fear, modern society glorifies productivity, urging us to maximize every moment. Yet this obsession stems from a deeper fear: wasting time, falling behind, dying before achieving enough. We fill our days chasing goals that rarely deliver fulfillment, losing sight of the present. As Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Fear makes us hoard time instead of savoring it, robbing us of joy found in stillness. Personal relationships suffer too. Fear poisons intimacy, replacing vulnerability with defensiveness. Couples grow distant, friends drift apart, families fracture, all because fear convinces us revealing our true selves is too risky. Brené Brown argues, connection requires courage, letting down your guard, exposing flaws without guarantee of acceptance. But fear whispers vulnerability, invites rejection. So we hide behind masks, suffocating under the pressure to maintain illusions. Ironically, by avoiding pain, we deny ourselves the very thing we crave: genuine connection. Yet to break free from fear requires reimagining how you perceive yourself and the world. The first step is recognizing that fear thrives on ignorance. It feeds on gaps in knowledge, creating monsters out of shadows. Shine a light into those corners. Examine your fears closely. Ask, what am I truly afraid of? Often, answers reveal fears tied to identity or purpose, less about external circumstances. And examination leads to a counterintuitive truth. Fear itself is neutral. Its value depends on engagement. Viktor Frankl taught suffering ceases to be suffering when it finds meaning. Similarly, fear ceases to paralyze when transformed into fuel for growth. Lean into it. Use it as a compass pointing toward areas needing attention. If public speaking terrifies you, sign up for a workshop. If intimacy scares you, explore wounds, making vulnerability unsafe. Reframe fear as a teacher, reclaim its energy, redirect it toward empowerment. History offers countless examples of individuals mastering this art. Nelson Mandela emerged from 27 years in prison without bitterness, using suffering to unite a fractured nation. Malala Yousafzai responded to Taliban threats with unwavering determination. These figures acknowledged fear, embraced it, allowed it to deepen resolve. They understood fear is universal, but so is the human capacity to transcend it. To join their ranks, cultivate Carol Dweck's growth mindset. A growth mindset views challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, effort as mastery. Contrast this with a fixed mindset, which avoids risk and stagnates. Fear loves the fixed mindset because it keeps you trapped. The growth mindset dismantles barriers, replacing them with curiosity and resilience. When faced with fear, ask, what can I learn? How might it help me grow? Mindfulness is another powerful tool. Being fully present disrupts habitual patterns, creating space between stimulus and response. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause, breathe, assess objectively. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes non-attachment, letting go of rigid expectations, focusing on the richness of the present. Fear loses its grip when you stop clinging to control and surrender to life's flow. Breaking free also requires dismantling societal structures perpetuating fear. Challenge narratives keeping us small, scarcity, competition, inadequacy. Replace them with abundance, collaboration, possibility. Surround yourself with people inspiring bigger dreams, deeper thoughts, bolder actions. Seek communities prioritizing empathy, creativity, authenticity. Culture shapes consciousness. Shift the paradigm and fear no longer holds sway. One effective way to rebel is embracing uncertainty. Fear loathes ambiguity because it cannot predict or control it. But uncertainty is life's essence, a dynamic, ever-changing tapestry woven from infinite possibilities. Embracing it means trusting adaptability, improvisation, perseverance. As Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Connect deeply with purpose, and uncertainty becomes exhilarating, the canvas for your masterpiece. Finally, rebellion isn't solitary, it's shared. You're not alone in struggling against fear. Millions fight the same battle, wrestling with doubts and insecurities. Reach out, share your story, listen to theirs. Solidarity dismantles walls fear builds, brick by brick, until the horizon opens wide and limitless. Imagine standing on a shore at twilight, where horizon blurs into sky and water. Waves crash rhythmically, reminders of infinite cycles, birth and death, creation and destruction, light and shadow. As you gaze outward, something shifts within. A realization dawns. Fear isn't separate from you. It's not an enemy to conquer or force to overcome. Fear is you. It's the raw essence of your humanity, connecting you to every living thing. And in this moment, you see clearly. The world you feared isn't out there. It's within. This is the ultimate truth. The revelation redefining everything. Fear isn't a flaw. It's a feature. It's not a barrier to freedom. It's the doorway. Philosophers, mystics, scientists arrive at this. The external world mirrors the internal landscape. Fears, desires, hopes shape the world you inhabit. Transforming your relationship to fear transforms your relationship to the world. Alan Watts said, "The only way to make sense of change is to plunge into it, move with it, join the dance." Fear is part of the dance, a rhythm woven into existence. Resist it, and you amplify its power. Embrace it, surrender without judgment, and align with existence. Fear transforms from prison to portal, granting access to dimensions previously inaccessible. The unknown becomes exhilarating, unpredictable, sacred. Life becomes art. You are both artist and masterpiece. This shift demands radical acceptance, meeting each moment as it is, without resistance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation, it means seeing clearly, free from denial or despair. Action arises naturally. Instead of fighting storms, become the calm at their center. Redefine success and failure. Society measures worth by external achievements, money, status, but these are hollow echoes of fulfillment. True success isn't accumulation, but contribution. Not control, but letting go. Not achievement, but becoming. Failure becomes a teacher, offering lessons in resilience, humility, grace. As you embody this perspective, notice something extraordinary. Fear softens. Its voice grows quieter, gentler. It whispers invitations instead of commands. Step forward, Fear, it says. Trust yourself. Fear becomes not a barrier to love, but a gateway, reminding you of fragility, interconnectedness, wonder. Love and fear reveal themselves as two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. To love fully is to risk loss. To risk loss is to confront fear. In confronting fear, you discover boundless depths of your heart. Now, zoom out. If fear isn't eradicated but embraced, collective challenges, climate change, inequality, conflict, require similar approaches. These aren't problems to solve, but opportunities to evolve. Transcend individual fears. Expand your sense of self to include all beings, ecosystems, futures. This is Bodhicitta, awakened mind, aspiring for benefit of all life. When enough awaken, ripple effects transform society, creating cultures rooted in empathy, sustainability, shared purpose. Stand on the threshold of this understanding. Take a deep breath. Feel weight lift from shoulders. The world hasn't changed. It never needed to. What's changed is your relationship to it. Fear is no longer lurking in shadows. It's walking beside you, pointing forward. The world you feared is now the world you belong to, intimately, irrevocably. You're not separate. You're it. Every wave, star, heartbeat is part of the same symphony. Play your note with courage and grace. In closing, imagine yourself as a tree, roots delving into uncertainty, branches reaching toward possibility. Fear is the wind shaking leaves, testing strength, challenging resolve. But trees don't resist wind. They bend, adapt, grow stronger. So too can you weather life's storms, finding beauty in chaos, meaning in struggle, liberation in surrender. For the world isn't something to fear, it's something to live. Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe.